The Grand Plaza Hotel ballroom featured crystal chandeliers that illuminated the space above, while the individual wearing a black dress, purchased at a discounted price but expertly tailored, adjusted her attire. With 15 years of experience as executive assistant to Matthew Chin, CEO of Chin Innovations, she had come to understand that true sophistication is not necessarily determined by the cost of one's clothing. Ashley Chin, the CEO's wife, requested additional champagne from the assistant. Ashley's tone was condescending, a behavior she had consistently displayed since marrying Matthew 3 years prior. She made this request without addressing the assistant directly, instead focusing on conversing with her socialite companions. The assistant politely responded, indicating that she was a guest at the event and suggesting that a server could fulfill the request. However, Ashley dismissed the suggestion, turning to acknowledge the assistant while making a pointed remark about her dress, implying it was not on par with her own high-end attire. Ashley further stated that the assistant was only attending the event because Matthew had extended invitations to all employees, regardless of rank, including those in support staff positions. The other women in Ashley's circle responded with laughter. The assistant, maintaining her composure, observed Matthew across the room, engaged in a discussion with other board members. While Matthew was recognized for his professional competence, it was evident that he did not recognize the dynamics of his wife's treatment of others. Ashley continued, criticizing the assistant's seating arrangement, stating that the table was intended for executives and their spouses, and that employees should be placed at the back. The assistant referenced a silver bracelet, a gift from Matthew's late father, as a reminder that her position was properly established. She calmly confirmed that her seating was appropriate, but Ashley continued to emphasize the assistant's position in the company, instructing her to remain in her place. This exchange highlights the social dynamics at play, specifically the disparity in how individuals perceived one another based on rank, as well as the personal tensions that can arise in hierarchical professional relationships. If Ashley only knew how much her luxurious lifestyle depended on my signature. 15 years ago, when I first joined Chin Innovations right after graduating from college, old Mr. Chen had seen potential in me, while everyone else saw just another young secretary. He recognized that I had earned a business degree from Stanford, juggling night classes and student loans. "Watch and learn, Christopher," he would say, showing me company reports late into the night. "Success isn't about the loudest voice, it's about who listens and learns the longest." He taught me everything about the business, and I became his trusted advisor. When his health started to decline, he made a decision that would change everything, but only his lawyer and I knew about it. "The company needs someone who understands its core," he had said, signing the papers that made me the majority shareholder. "Matthew is great at innovation, but he needs someone steady to guide the company. Be that person, Christopher. Just keep it quiet." For 5 years, I followed his wishes. I attended board meetings, pretending to take minutes, but in reality, I controlled most votes through proxy. I reviewed major decisions, appearing as though I was just organizing papers for Matthew. The board members who knew the truth respected my discretion, and the company thrived. Then Matthew married Ashley, and everything changed. She pushed for modernizing the company, which meant replacing experienced employees with her socialite friends. She started racking up extravagant business expenses that mirrored her shopping sprees. Worst of all, she mistreated the loyal staff who had been with Chin Innovations for years. I watched, documented, and waited. "Actually," I said, standing up slowly, "I think it's time we had a chat about your place here. Ashley, would you join me in the executive conference room?" She laughed. "The conference room? You don't have the authority to." "Oh, but I do," I replied, nodding at Mr. James, our legal counsel, who had been waiting for my cue. He stepped forward with a folder. "There are some documents you need to review. Right now." Ashley's smile faded as Mr. James placed the folder in front of her. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Her business lunches were actually shopping sprees charged to the company. Her charity events were secret gambling trips to Vegas. And most damaging of all, there was evidence of her selling company information to competitors. "What is this?" Her voice lost its usual charm. "This," I said calmly, "is a choice. You can leave the party now, sign the divorce papers that will be delivered to your house tonight, and accept a very generous settlement. Or what?" She trembled as she closed the folder. "Or I call an emergency board meeting and vote to press charges for corporate espionage. As majority shareholder, I have the votes to make it happen." Her face went pale. "Majority? What? That's impossible. Matthew owns Matthew owns 22%. His father left him the innovation division because that's his strength. I own 75%. I've had control for the past 5 years. The champagne glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the marble floor. All eyes turned to us. You're lying, she hissed. You're just a secretary. I smiled, touching my silver bracelet again. Oh, Ashley, didn't anyone ever tell you? The best way to learn a company's secrets is to be the person everyone underestimates. Mr. James cleared his throat. Security is waiting by the side entrance. Mrs. Chen, I suggest you use it. Ashley's face twisted in anger. Matthew will never believe this. He already knows. Matthew's voice came from behind her. I turned to see him standing there, holding a similar folder. Christopher showed me everything this morning. I've been with the lawyers all day. His expression was stern. It's over, Ashley. What happened next would become a legendary moment in company history. The scene erupted into chaos. Ashley, her polished image falling apart, screamed and lunged toward me with a furious shout that shattered the calm atmosphere of the ballroom. Security quickly intercepted her before she could reach me, but her designer clutch struck me in the face, leaving a small cut above my eye. You scheming witch, she yelled as the guards dragged her away. You planned this all along, Matthew. She's manipulating you. I stayed silent, gently dabbing at the cut with a napkin someone handed me. The entire ballroom fell quiet, all eyes on the spectacle. Among the onlookers were the employees who had suffered under Ashley's cruelty over the years, witnessing karma unfold in real time. The only manipulation here, Matthew said coldly, was you marrying me for money and status. Christopher's been fighting to protect this company, my father's legacy, while you've been selling our secrets to the competition. Ashley's resistance to the guards stopped suddenly. I can explain, she stammered. Save it for the SEC, Matthew replied. They've been looking into those offshore accounts you've opened. As Ashley was escorted out, her last cries echoing through the marble halls, I felt a surprising sense of calm. Old Mr. Chen always said that, in the end, the truth rises to the top like cream. The next morning, employees of Chen Innovations arrived to find an all-staff meeting scheduled for 9 a.m. The rumors were already spreading. Ashley's dramatic exit had made waves on social media, though the full story remained a secret for now. I changed from my usual modest attire into the tailored Armani suit I'd kept in my office for this moment. The silver bracelet Mr. Chen had given me gleamed on my wrist as I stepped onto the stage in the company auditorium. A murmur of confusion rippled through the crowd. Where was Matthew? Why was his assistant on stage? Good morning, I began, my voice steady and clear. For those of you who only know me as Christopher, the executive assistant, let me introduce myself properly. I'm Christopher Chen, majority shareholder and newly appointed CEO of Chen Innovations. The room went completely silent. 15 years ago, Joseph Chen, our founder and Matthew's father, saw potential in a young secretary who spent her lunch break studying financial reports. He became my mentor, teaching me every aspect of this business. When his health failed, he made a choice to secure the future of this company. Matthew stepped up beside me. My father knew what he was doing. He addressed the stunned crowd. I'm great at innovation, that's my passion. But Christopher? She understands the core of this company. She's been quietly guiding us to record profits for 5 years, while everyone underestimated her. Including my wife, he added with a grim expression, who, as you may have heard, is no longer part of Chen Innovations. The next hour passed in a blur of explanations, announcements, and a detailed presentation of our new corporate structure. As the crowd's shock transformed into understanding and respect, I noticed the longtime employees, those who had suffered under Ashley, looking at me with newfound admiration. But the real drama was still to come. Later that afternoon, my office, the real one, not the tiny assistant desk I had used for years, welcomed 3 important visitors. First was Ashley's father, the CEO of a rival tech company. Name your price, he blustered, dropping into the chair across from my desk. Everyone has one. Sell your shares, step down, and sign an NDA about Ashley's mistakes. I smiled, recalling all the times he had ignored me at corporate events. Mr. Patterson, your daughter's actions are corporate espionage. The only reason she's not in handcuffs right now is because of Matthew. Don't make me reconsider that, Mercy. He left, pale and speechless. Next was Ashley herself, somehow allowed in by a sympathetic security guard, who was promptly fired. You don't understand, she pleaded, her expensive outfit from the night before now wrinkled and tear-streaked. I had to do it. Daddy's company was struggling. I needed the inside information to save it. We can make a deal. Like the deals you made with Maria in accounting, Susan in HR, all the loyal employees you fired because they wouldn't help you steal company secrets? I pressed a button on my desk. Security, please escort Mrs. Chen out. This time, use the service entrance. The third visitor was unexpected, Joseph Chen's widow, Matthew's mother, whom I hadn't seen since the funeral. I always wondered, she said gently, settling gracefully into the chair. Harry used to come home smiling, talking about his brilliant protégé. He said you reminded him of me. I started as a secretary too, before I helped him build his first company. Tears welled in my eyes as she reached into her bag and pulled out a small box. He wanted you to have this, when the time was right, when you finally stepped into the light. Inside was a necklace that matched my silver bracelet, with a simple inscription, to Christopher, who proved that wisdom whispers while ego shouts. The next few weeks were intense. Ashley's attempted corporate espionage made headlines, though we managed to keep the worst details private for Matthew's sake. Her divorce settlement was generous, but came with ironclad NDAs and a permanent ban from working in the tech industry again. Patterson Technologies, her father's company, was investigated by the SEC and eventually filed for bankruptcy. It turned out Ashley's help had only accelerated their downfall. But the real story was how Chen Innovations transformed. I reinstated every employee Ashley had unjustly fired, with back pay and promotions where deserved. The toxic executives she'd brought in were replaced with talented people who had been overlooked, including many who had started in support staff positions. Success leaves clues. I announced at my first official board meeting, and the biggest clue is how someone treats people when they think no one's watching. 1 year later, Chen Innovations' profits had doubled. Matthew, freed from his CEO duties, had developed 3 groundbreaking new products. I also established a foundation that provided scholarships to support staff wanting to earn degrees while working. The annual company party arrived once more, same ballroom, same sparkling chandeliers, but this time, when I entered wearing another simple black dress, though no longer from the clearance rack, every head turned with respect. Ashley's old socialite friends tried to get in good with me, but I seated them at the back. The front tables were reserved for the heart of our company, the loyal employees who had built it, regardless of their titles. Standing at the podium, I touched the silver bracelet and necklace, which served as reminders of where I had come from. Success isn't about power, I said into the microphone, echoing old Mr. Chen's wisdom. It's about empowering others. Position isn't about privilege, it's about responsibility. And true leadership? It's about lifting others up, not pushing them down. In the back, I spotted a familiar face, Ashley, who had sneaked in hoping to stir up drama. But she left quietly when she saw that her old seat at the front table was now occupied by Maria from accounting, wearing a new VP of Finance name tag. Some people said I was too soft, too forgiving of past wrongs, but as old Mr. Chen taught me, the best revenge isn't about destruction, it's about construction, building something so beautiful and strong that those who doubted you can only watch in awe. And from his portrait on the wall, Joseph Chen smiled down at his legacy, not just a successful company, but a lesson in looking past titles to recognize true worth. The assistant had become CEO, but more importantly, she had become what he had always seen in her, a leader who understood that real power doesn't come from demanding respect, it comes from deserving it.